to be late.
But I've got nothing to wear.
It's a school day.
I told you, it's casual day. I hate casual day. I know. It's supposed to be fun, but it's not. And as if it's casual.
Casual would imply that you just throw something on a few seconds before you walk out the door. Like you'd go, oh, there's that old thing I wore yesterday lying on the floor. It's got a little bit of last night's dinner on it, but that's okay. No one cares what I wear anyway. It's only casual. Yeah, right. There's nothing casual about it at all. The decision I make about what to wear to school today could literally affect the rest of my life. I'm serious.
Last time my friend Samantha wore a dress that she just got for Christmas, and it was the dumbest thing she ever did.
I mean, it was really nice and everything, but she didn't realise it was a bit see-through, like, you know, when the sun shone through it, and when she stood up in assembly to read out the netball results, the whole school burst out laughing, and I felt so sorry for her. And everyone just calls her See-Through Sam. And when we were walking to the bus stop the other day, this boy from another school that we didn't even know rode past on his bike and yelled out, "Show us your knickers, See-Through Sam."
On the other hand, at least people know her name now. Most people at school don't think I've got a name at all. I'm just See-Through Sam's friend. So it would be kind of cool if I could wear something that made people notice me. But then, what if they notice me for the wrong reasons?
We just had a grade meeting, right? In the hall, about subjects for next year or something. And right when we're about to go home, Mr. Reed comes in and tells everyone who was at Scott Henriksen's party on the weekend to stay behind. So I got up to go. I didn't even know it was only a stupid party, to be honest. I was feeling pretty pleased with myself that I didn't have to stick around this place any longer. So I look around, right, to see where the poor suckers are to stay. And I realise there's only like 15 of us getting up to go.
Out of 100-something kids in year 10, there was only 15 of us that went at Henriksen's party on Saturday. At first I thought everyone was just taking their time. So I picked up my stuff really slowly, thinking some others would get up any minute. But they didn't. It was just me, a couple of the tossers from my science class, the international students that only started this year, and some girls that never say anything. I didn't even know their names. Apparently no one does, or I guess they would have been at the party. So instead of everyone that went to the party looking dumb for whatever, I don't know, getting smashed or bashing some poor gay crushes, we looked like complete losers for being the only ones that weren't invited to what was apparently the party of a decade.
Sucks. And it's not like you can sit down again once you've stood up. You're just standing there in front of the whole grade, and you may as well be wearing a sign that says, "I'm a loser," or "I don't exist." Mr. Reed's an idiot. He punished the wrong people today, and he doesn't even know it.
Farewell. God knows we shall meet again. I have a faint cold fear through my veins that almost freezes up the heat of life. I call them back to comfort me. Nurse! What should she do here? Where just small senile needs must act alone. Come, Vile.
What if this week should you not work at all? Shall I be married then tomorrow morning? No, no. This shall forbid it. Lie thou there. What if it be a poison, which the friar subtly hath ministered to have me dead, lest in this marriage he should be dishonoured because he married me before to Romeo? I fear it is, and yet methinks it should not, for he hath still been tried a holy man.
How if, when I'm laid at the tomb, I wake before the time that Romeo come to redeem me? There's a fearful point. Shall I not then be stifled in the vault, to whose foul mouth no wordsomer breathes in, and there die strangled ere my Romeo comes?
Okay, so I was on Insta, right, and I saw Pete McIntyre's name online. I don't know what possessed me, but I got brave and I wrote, "Hi." I know, I can't believe that I did it either. Anyway, he writes back, straight away, almost. And he says, "Hi Jeannie, how are you?" But I didn't want to be too keen because, you know. So I waited for like 65 agonizing seconds before finally I wrote, "Yeah, I'm up for that." So, all casual like, when I feel like screaming, "Yes, yes, yes!"
first name was Twinkle, and I won my first baby show dressed as a corn cob. The day I was born, I was apparently so beautiful that the doctor wouldn't hand me back, and he was late for his afternoon round of golf. My mother fell into postnatal depression because everyone admired my beauty, while hers fell off her face.
Here's a photo of me as Miss Primary School. And look, little Miss Geldery. It was a long trip, but I was sure enough my nearest rival sicked up on the judging panel. Then I became a teenager. Do you know how hard that can be if you're entirely beautiful? No, you don't. I'd tell my friends I was ugly, and they'd laugh. I'd look in the mirror and pull every face possible, and I still looked alright, even to me.
It all had to end. Who flicks the switch? Who writes the implausible scenarios? The woman on the streets who is gentle and giving is blown up by a 14-year-old fanatic. The healthy guy at the gym drops dead in his shower 2 days before his wedding. Who writes this stuff? The beauty queen at the pageant who has acid thrown at her face. The beauty queen at the pageant who has acid thrown at her face. I ran screaming down Main Street calling for my mother. I rolled in the gutter to get some moisture. My face was falling into my hands.
Apparently, he was bored and he thought I had tickets for myself. He used to be in an institution, but that was inhumane. As I healed in the hospital and then my house, I thought a lot about being humane. My father never really looked at me again. My mother slowly put all my trophies away, one by one, and started collecting medications.
I watched the leaves outside my window fall from the tree. Each leaf was a part of my beauty falling away, until there was only myself. A nurse named Rosalind was the kindest person at the time. One day, she held my head in her hands and thrusted a mirror at me. "This is who you are," she said. "You must keep looking until you understand." And that's what I did for several years. The mirror was my university. How could the life I have planned be better? How could the creature staring back at me become myself? And the answer came to me by degrees. At last, I knew who I had become. The girl with the star on her face, a red star, and on that star, I was to make my most profound wish.
One night, I sat by my father and held his hand until he finally cried. I took my mum for a walk around the block. We saw a red star in the sky. "Look, Mum, it's me. Make a wish." "I don't know what to think," she said. "A star is a beautiful thing, Mother. You don't see many red ones. I'm always going to be beautiful, Mum. It all depends on how you look at me." And she looked deep into my eyes and touched my face and made her peace with my destruction.
Later, I entered a beauty contest, and I spoke directly to the judges and a hall full of proud mums and trembling contestants. To Miss Bubblehead and Divine Princess Pauline. To Miss Mopsy and Sparkly Peach Queen. You can't say I'm the prettiest. That would be ridiculous. Nor anyone here. We are all hideous sometimes, and sometimes we shine. So girls, take those tiaras from your head and those numbers from your back. We are all... The mic was pulled away, and I was pelted with cream cakes as I was marched out of the hall. Years later, I met a man with half a face. If you cut up our pictures, we can be one beauty or one complete mess. But you have to look deeply to find us. Now you know our story. I am the ugly swan, the ugly duckling in reverse. I was popular and beautiful and had it all. I lost it all. I returned on my own and ugly, forgotten. And it was the only way I could ever have happily ever after, as much as anyone can.
My story, well, I can't ever remember not feeling anxious or sad. It's always been my reality. It started when I was a kid. I broke my arm while I was a kid. It was a really bad break and I was in hospital for a few days. After that, everything changed. My arm healed, but it was like I broke my nerve. I became really jumpy, anxious about even the littlest of things.
every single thing scared me. I definitely did not want to leave my mum's side, and I certainly did not want to go to school. The thought of that made me feel sick to my stomach. Mum would try and make me go, but it would just turn into a huge fight. I'd start crying, my chest would feel tighter and tighter, and I'd slip into a full-blown panic attack. My friends don't get it. They just tell me to calm down and to stop worrying. It's easy enough for them to say. They just don't get it. Some people think it's all crap. You know, my maths teacher even called me an attention seeker, and I'm not. I'm really not. I'm sorry, I'll sit down, sorry. I try, I really try, but it's really hard for someone like me who has to go through this almost every day, especially when you hear the stupid throwaway comments like, oh, I'm so anxious and depressed, but they don't really understand how that can affect someone like me. I know the symptoms now: sweaty palms, nausea, struggling to breathe, tight chest, freezing, and not being able to move. I've also learnt some techniques to manage my anxiety, breathing exercises, going to a place or a person I know I can trust. But every day is still a battle. I have absolutely horrible negative thoughts that consume me, and I hope one day soon, I can be normal again. But what is normal anyway?
I'm behind today anyway. It was a bit of an incident. It wasn't my fault really. They're renovating the supermarket. You know how I like to get in and out really quickly. Well, it's just impossible at the moment. It's complete chaos. I wanted some of those fresh nuts and they weren't to their normal spot. I rushed around like a mad thing trying to locate them. Everyone was crazy. They had this kind of manic look in their eyes because no one could find anything. There were great piles of everything imaginable on the floor. Tomato sauce where the tampons used to be, angry shoppers, and no nuts. So I asked Sam. You know Sam. And he said it's been abolished, taken away for good. Apparently the homeless people used to come in and feed from it and not pay. So now they're punishing all of us. I felt like us at school. Not that I blame him. Sam, I mean. He's just doing his job. Anyway, it became an incident because I wanted these particular smoked almonds. They're my favourite. A little pricey, but worth it in my opinion anyways. But in all the frenzy, I picked up something. I think it was an apple. It was solid and sitting in that mad place. Round, whole. But I forgot I had it and I just sort of left. It's all sorted out now. Security chased me down the street and I had to go back and explain. I can't remember what I said, but they left me with some kind of warning. I imagine my pictures from some kind of international supermarket blacklist or whatever. I'll have to ask.
Three siblings are chased into the forest by police for stealing a man's wallet. The siblings get chased into the forest where they get lost until they eventually find a castle. Quick, let's hide in here. I think the castle's abandoned.
Welcome to my house. Follow me or else. You travelers need food before you go to bed.
I'm not hungry.
Hmm.
I should have eaten. I hope these stairs lead to the kitchen. What's that noise? It was all a dream. I hope. Ah! Oh, my leg. Guys, wake up. We gotta get out of here.
What happened?
Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it. We gotta go.
Quick, he's almost here. I will get you next time.
Hey, Theodore.
Hey, Mom.
I have some big news for you.
Wow.
So go get your brother.
I'll get him now. Brother! Hi. What's the big news?
Well, we're moving.
Why?
You know, ever since your father died, this apartment only reminds me of him. And now I need a fresh new start.
I miss him too.
Come on, let's go. Welcome, children, to your new house.
What was that?
Oh, it's nothing. Well, I got this house from your grandfather. He died in this house, so it's very special to me.
Okay.
Let's go.
Can you turn on a light? It's really dark in here.
Oh, I thought the light was on. Let me go turn it. Is that better?
Yeah, it is.
So what do you boys think of our new home?
It's very old.
Well, I can't really control that, can I?
Well, no, I guess not, but why this house?
I told you, it was your grandfather's. It's very special to me. Come on, let's go unpack.
Okay. Mom, we're going to school!
All right, sweeties, have a nice day.
Let's go. Alright. First day. New school. You ready? Oh.
Hi guys, what's your names?
Oh, I'm Thomas and I'm Theodore. Nice to meet you.
Oh, my name's Noah. So when did you guys move here?
Actually, we just moved in yesterday.
Oh, well, where's your house?
We're in 3 Park Lane.
Oh, I've heard a lot of haunted stories about that house, about ghosts and stuff.
Really, what have you heard?
I've heard that there was this old man who used to live there and he died and his ghost still possesses the house to this day.
Could have been our grandpa.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
How about you come over and we can investigate it?
Oh, yeah, it sounds awesome.
Okay.
Got nothing else to do.
Well,
Whoa, this is such a big house, what the hell?
Yeah, I know, it was our grandpa's. That's why we moved in.
It's really nice.
Well, this is it.
It's a nice place you've got here. It is a bit creepy though.
Yeah, I guess it is. Turn on the light. Here it is. What's happening?
What was that? What's that?
Oh my god. Let's go.
Let's go. This is weird.
So, this is our bedroom.
Oh, it's nice beds.
Yeah, thanks. Do you hear something? Is that just me?
I think it's just your imagination.
Okay. Well, let's move on, I guess. So, this is where we go to the bathroom, and there's the shower there. There's a bathtub. Besides that, you know, it's pretty old. Well, I think it's pretty, yeah. Noah! Noah, where are you? What is happening? Where could he be? What happened? What's that?
Boys? Boys, is that you?
Yes!
Please, help me!